properly, then we basically have to, the state has to take care of a permanently severely retarded child. So most states are going to screen for this, and they're going to, when they find this, they're going to be treated very, very specially with a diet that has no phenylalanine, except for the very small amount that your body needs. Because when they get that phenylalanine, they can't always process it correctly, and it can cause damage. So that's why I recommend people work with a healthcare practitioner who can guide you correctly to get the right stuff. Choline, another very important substance, but it may be high in some cases of schizophrenia. So that's why I say work with somebody if at all possible. So how are we going to produce the best? First, let's talk about serotonin, what it is. Well, this sounds wonderful. When your serotonin is going, you are mellow, you're at peace with the world, you have self-control, you have impulse control, you're able to plan, your planning ability is great, and it's no surprise drugs like ecstasy and cocaine are so popular. They're going to trigger the serotonin to be released. Another thing, these selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, the ones that are going to leave more serotonin there to fire on those receptors, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And that's your list: Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, Effexor, Celexa, Lexapro, Luvox. All these medications specifically try and let there be more serotonin there to pick up. But what's going to happen? If we downregulate those receptors, which your body is likely to do, to try and achieve that balance, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need more and more of these. Serotonin is made from tryptophan and vitamin B6. What happens if we've got someone with a low serotonin system? They just don't have enough serotonin. They may be impulsive, and I mean impulsive in any aspect of their life. Not everyone will have all of these aspects, but these are the possibilities. Impulsive diet, impulsive lifestyle, impulsive with sex, impulsive shopping. They may be uneasy about life in general, or even uncomfortable in their own skin, and they crave simple carbohydrates. I should have said complex, really. Bread, pasta, candy, anything that's going to get that sugar in there, because that's going to help produce those. I'll explain why in a second. Well, they are simple, actually. Simple carbs are going to raise the serotonin by this. All right, so tryptophan we find in turkey, milk, other proteins. The carbohydrates are going to increase the insulin, which drives the tryptophan into the brain. That's what the carbohydrates are there to move the tryptophan into the brain, and that's why those cravings exist. I know, it's like, how do we put all this together? There's a book I'm going to refer you to that I think it explains it very well. Beta-endorphin, it's a painkiller. Endorphin, morphine, they all fire on some of these similar receptors here, okay? There are millions of people that are in chronic pain here in the United States. Most of them are on medications for their chronic pain. Most of them are on narcotics for their chronic pain. If you go to India, there may be millions of people in chronic pain. They're not on narcotics. Most of them are actually just walking around, experiencing life, and they're pretty happy, even though they have chronic pain. What's happening is their beta-endorphin system is firing, and it's one of those things. After a while with chronic pain, you actually begin to fire this beta-endorphin and release it so you can actually tolerate it. But this beta-endorphin is also associated with a sense of well-being, euphoria. It's going to ease emotional distress, increase self-esteem. This is where we get the runner's high, is all beta-endorphin. It controls anxiety, diffuses any paranoid feeling, reduces anger, and relieves even certain types of depression. Sounds like a great drug. We all need some, right? What it does, it actually inhibits the release of a certain, actually GABA is a neurotransmitter that tends to inhibit things. So, and it disinhibits dopamine pathways, and basically so more is released, and it's going to bind to these pain receptors. A mu receptor is a pain receptor. I'll talk about dopamine and GABA in a minute, but the idea is this is something naturally produced in your body that's designed to make you feel really good. If we've got low beta-endorphin, people tend to be reactive instead of responsive. low self-esteem. They feel isolated and depressed. They feel done to, and these people crave sugar. If it's biochemically based, if someone naturally has a system that has low beta endorphin, they get no help from psychotherapy, counseling, self-help books, positive affirmations. You have to address the biochemical basis of it. What happens in a low beta endorphin state is the beta endorphin receptors are upregulated. So we've got more receptors that are going to hear the very small amounts of beta endorphin that are circulating. And this is the most interesting thing. You remember of mice and men, the natural beta endorphin releasers are going to produce an exaggerated response in people with a low beta endorphin system. And even in people that aren't, no, so sugar, this is interesting. Sugar, alcohol, morphine, heroin, codeine, when people with a low beta endorphin system get a hold of any of these things, they get a real rush. They have a very exaggerated response to it. Does it make them bad or drug addicts? No, they've just got different chemistry. We have to learn how to deal with that, how to work with that. Now, sugar is a pain medicine, no doubt about it. 24% sucrose solutions are used as pain medicine in infants. Up to 4 to 6 months of age, it's a great pain medication. It's, you know, you put a little pacifier in the sucrose solution. You get it ordered down from pharmacy. And the babies can usually be quite comfortable during a simple procedure like starting an IV or something. So don't underestimate this you know, sugar as a beta endorphin releaser. It can be quite useful and is in fact used in nurseries throughout the country. So sugar and cravings. What happens when we go cold turkey off this addictive substance? Well, if we've downregulated these receptors, that means there are going to be fewer of them. The withdrawal is going to be miserable. And the fewer receptors are available for the natural transmitters that may be there. Sweets may control cravings for a while, and this is what people who are withdrawing from or trying to go cold turkey off alcohol and some addictive drugs maybe said. They say, oh, well, eat sweets, that'll help. Well, for a while, it does, in fact, it's going to be a beta endorphin releaser for a while, but you've got to recognize you have to take care of some of the underlying problems there. What I've just talked to you about is actually from Kathleen Desmaisons' book, Potatoes Not Prozac. If anything that I've talked about sounds familiar to you or someone you know or love, this is a very useful book. I think it should be required reading for anyone who has an alcoholic anywhere in the family, because there's a good chance they may have a degree of sugar sensitivity themselves, even though they don't have the same reaction to alcohol. In Kathleen Desmaisons' book, she's got 7 steps. It starts with eating a protein breakfast, journal foods and feelings, so you know what you're eating and how that makes you feel. And you can go back and reflect these. People that just try and remember things, it doesn't work. You got to journal. She focuses on eating 3 meals a day with protein. Why the protein? You have to have the amino acids to give your brain to make the neurotransmitters that you need. Taking vitamins. Many people are going to need to have the vitamins, especially B complex and C. These are water soluble. Most of us are suboptimal, and many people may be downright deficient in these and not even realize it. And the potato at bedtime, that's potatoes, not Prozac. The potato at bedtime is what is actually going to allow all those amino acids, the tryptophan, to get in with that insulin that's going to be released from the potato. Shift away from white foods, because those are going to be, you know, your white flour, highly processed, low fiber. Shift away from white foods to brown foods, say brown rice, whole wheat, things like that. And then finally, reduce or eliminate the sugars that you may have been sensitive to the whole time, and come alive. And it's really fun if you don't do anything else. Just go to your local bookstore the next time you have a chance. I'm certain they'll have a copy of this lying around, and read the testimonials. And people are talking about experiencing joy